You add in the CPF is almost like 8K already. And then what are you going to do with 8K? Are you spending 8K now?
Yeah, I like spending.
On what?
I don't know. I just like spending.
On what?
I don't want to tell you though.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Backholder Pod. Today, we are going to talk more about the idea of a Singaporean dream. So, just recently, Dollar and Cents has released an article with the very engaging headline saying, "How much does it cost to live the Singaporean dream?" So, to just summarize, they did provide an infographic, and the breakdown is as follows. You have the big headline saying that it ultimately costs 4.4 million Singapore dollars. And here are the few main big ticket items that they computed. So buying a condo, 1.7 million. Owning a car, 750,000 for 30 years. Retirement, you need $1 million, which equates to around spending $4,000 a month for 20 years. Enjoying an annual vacation, budgeting of around $5,000 vacation per person over 50 years. And that costs 250K. Getting married, 60K. And buying a country club membership, and that's $200,000. Child's education, 50K, raising two kids, 400,000 until they turn 18. So in total, the cost of, I guess, two kids household until they turn 18 and all the lofty aspirations of condo, vacation, having a comfortable retirement, it costs you $4.4 million. So maybe just to kickstart the entire discussion, Eric, do you agree with this? And how much does your Singaporean dream cost?
Obviously, everybody have different circumstances, right? Like, if you ask me, do I agree with this? There are certain parts that I don't agree with. Certain parts, I think, if you were to buy those things now, that will definitely set you back around that amount. Having said that, the article also say that most of it is estimation. They also round up, round down here and there. So generally speaking, I think is the ballpark figure is okay. But if you're asking me if I agree, if this is my Singaporean dream, I would say certain parts of it okay, certain parts of it is not my dream. So I don't think it's like a Singapore. Every Singaporean wants this kind of thing, but I think certain parts of it, yes lah.
Which part yes, which part
Yeah.
no?
And also maybe if I give you the let's say the job to try to estimate what is a Singaporean dream and how would you calculate it on your own?
Okay, so maybe I don't know if I'm doxing myself, but I just go through the list and basically share how much I paid for these things. Like getting married, I think my lunch was about 10K. The table itself lah. That was like 9 8 9 years ago, that kind of pricing at Mandarin Oriental. 10 tables, 10K. So one table was no, sorry, 13K, sorry, 13K. One table was 1.3K. That's a five-star hotel. So this article say how much? 40 to 50, but they got what? 15 tables. So slightly more than mine, but the price is about 3x. I don't think need so much.
Hey, this one is low end. 40 to 50K at the low end. So I'm wondering high end we're going to spend how much?
Oh, okay. So anyway, the wedding outfits, photography, wedding car, all those things, right? I think I spend an additional 3 4 thousand. It comes as a package. So your wedding outfit, your photography, everything, it comes in one package. The car, I didn't really get outside car. I just asked my brother, like, hey, borrow your car. So something like that lah. Then yeah lor. So all in all, I think I spent about 16,000. 16,000. Okay, then yeah. Okay, so that was the getting married part. Was I spent about one third of what this article say, but probably now it should be two-thirds. I would think a reasonable wedding. I say reasonable as in like hotel kind of wedding lah, not like at coffee shop. Then coffee shop, then obviously you don't need so much. But hotel, most likely you have to spend around, I would say about 30K for the normal size hotel wedding. Mine was a small. So annual vacation, how much they say? Two whole life. I thought
Whole
scared.
life, whole life.
Whole life 250,000.
4 to 5K per person.
Okay, so 1 year is it set you back 4 to 5K? Okay, that actually depends on where you go. I would say that's about right lah. 4 to 5K per year.
But that's because you travel to your travel frequency is about like once a
Once a year.
year, right?
Once a year.
But I know that there are many Singaporean they travel 4 to 6 times a year.
But the article, how many times? One time also, right?
I think the article just estimate that every year they budget around 5K and then they do it for 50 years, from 25 years old to 75. Then that's how they get a rounded figure of 250. So I think that we can just assume that 5,000 a year, that's your budget. Then maybe you don't need to go for so many years until you're 75. Maybe you're 65, tired already. So the extra 10 year can top up to the rest of the 40 years and then you estimate out.
Okay,
So I think 250K is still okay.
4 to 5K is about right. About right. Buying a condominium, I think the 1.7 mil is about there also. If you're talking about three bedroom, not like the super prime area, like okay, the smallest 3-bedder is about 1.7 thereabouts. Then raising 2 kids, I think this one definitely varies. Punti can raise like 10 kids with that amount. Mine, I don't know. I think it's close to around there. Because we send for the normal enrichment, send for the tuition and all the stuff. Yeah, it's around there. It's close to $250,000. I think the last we also calculated somewhere around there. Education wise, undergraduate to 25,000, okay. I think it's quite reasonable. I think checking your degree, is it around this
40, I think.
40? That's because you did 2, right?
No,
That's why it
no.
cost double.
I think generally it's all 30 to 40. Now.
30 to 40.
Yeah, 30 to 40. But you don't need to 包个料 You can help offset more than 50%. You ask the kid go and teach tuition and settle himself like the rest. 25 is too fair also.
Minimum 25. Yeah, maybe it's those like not as good as your degree kind, right?
No, I think in general it's all 30 to 40. I also don't know how they get 25K.
Doesn't matter the degree.
It matters, but the vary is like $1,000 per semester. So even if you add up the variance, it's like 6K max or 8K max.
So we probably need to save about 40K to be safe.
Yeah, per child
right? 40K.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, owning a car, let's go down. They say the cost of owning Toyota Altis 250. Okay, this one is a lot higher than what I am doing, because I think when I bought my car, which was about 5.5 years ago, the COE was only about 45,000. Yeah. Then the whole car was like 90K. So plus all the whatever things that I spent on cash, card, petrol, all that, I don't think will add up to be $250,000, but I think will easily maybe 150 lah. Cannot run away. 150 for 10 years. Then
So 30 years is 450 lah.
30 years why so long? Oh, you buy another one, another
through that 35 to 65 lah, your prime.
But
okay. Then 450 lor.
But you cannot like this. It's
why?
not like Eric can keep on buying COE at what 45K every time he renew his COE.
But we are estimating now.
Estimating.
Cannot.
So, country club.
Okay, country club. I don't have. Safra.
Not important.
Safra like $100 for 2 years on sia. And recently got discount though. Recently, yeah. Okay, anyway. Retirement. What did they say?
1 mil.
1 mil.
For 4,000 a month passive income.
Oh, so that's just CPF Life, right?
I think they never include CPF Life. It's just they use the 4% rule lah. Maybe Kelvin can explain more later. But 4% rule, 48K
no, they
a year.
didn't. They so you're going to die after 20 years.
Yeah, Chicken got help me add up like so far all
have. So you give me a retirement number. What do you want? 1.5 enough?
1.5. Best is 2 lah.
2. Okay, can. I'll add 2. Okay, so I do an estimation now. Okay, now getting married, wedding 30K, 250K is your vacation.
Yeah.
1.7 million condo, 400,000 for your 2 kids, 80,000 for their education, 450,000 for their car, and 2 million for retirement. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Correct lah, 4.9. Your Singaporean dream. Yeah, that's why I calculated just now.
Wait. Why higher than the article?
Because retirement is double.
Okay.
That's why higher than the article. Correct. So 4.9 million is Eric's Singaporean dream. Are we happy with that? So maybe Kelvin and Bunti want to comment.
Kelvin.
No, for 2 million, if you're using the 4% rule, 2 million, 4% is how much? 8,000? No. Wow, sorry,
Correct lah, correct. 8,000 per month.
8,000 per month. Wow,
8,000 per month.
why you need so much?
But that one is what, right? Is after inflation and everything. 20 years
80,000.
later,
They
like,
never include inflation, ma.
I think it's not 8,000, right? It's 80K per year, right?
Yeah, so Eric is 6K per year. Per month. I don't think he needs so much. You add in the CPF is almost like 8K already. Eric, what are you going to do with 8K? Are you spending 8K now?
Yeah, I like spending.
On what?
I don't know. I just like spending.
On what?
Don't want to tell you though. Why must I tell you what I'm spending it on?
Yeah.
You can answer yourself. Then you see how much yours costs.
No, my point is dollars and cents article doesn't include. It's not. They are not using the 4% rule. They are just saying, in that 20 years you are going to use 1 mil. So for Eric, I think the number is a lot lower. Anyway, yeah.
so how much is your Singaporean dream,
Your
Kelvin?
turn.
How much? Wow. Okay, for my wedding, I made back the money sort of lah. So it's not a negative, it's a positive. I think so for my photography, I only spent like I think 2K plus RM. Per table is about 800, but that part earned back, so I just assume it's zero. But I got give out ang bao, net off still zero. My wife bought, because we wanted to take photos, so me and my wife bought some traditional Chinese clothes from Taobao. I think that's like 200-300 RM again. So can assume my marriage cost is only like 2K RM, which is only like 600 Sing. Yes, around there. And then vacation 5K sounds about right. Owning a car, I don't think I will own a car. Maybe 5 years later you'll see me driving a car. But for now I'm not driving a car, but I'm just assuming I will be taking a Grab here, Grab there, everywhere. So assuming 200 Sing per month. So that's about 4 trips per week. 4 trips per month. Then buying HDB, it was about 400 plus K. Maybe include interest, but it's about like 600K. Retirement, I don't think I will need that much. It's only like maybe like 1 mil portfolio, which is about, I cannot math now. 1 mil times 4% is about 40K divided by 12, 3K. Yeah, 3K. Okay, sounds about right. Yeah. So maybe total add up is about 1.6 mil.
Kids leh.
Kids, my stance is if got extra money, I will pay for the education. If not, let them fight for themselves.
For the raising up leh, until 18.
Raising up.
2 kids, 400K, right?
400K. This one I never count before. I don't think it's that high. But let's cut it by half. Okay, add up both together, maybe 400K. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So
2 mil.
2 mil.
Yeah.
2 mil. Okay, so we have one at 4.9, one at 2 mil. Then Buti, your turn.
Wait, you don't ask Juhu what's that Singaporean dream? We got JHK dream only. Where got Singaporean dream? But for me, I think the Singaporean dream is I cannot relate much to this article. The only part that I agree is the raising kids and kids educations. I think that part I agree. When I go through the list, right, the wedding is talking about 60K. I got no sense similar to Kelvin's situations. I mean, Juhu don't spend much on wedding one at least on our time Right now, I don't know what's the cost Then if we go through the rest, right, like talking about car, I no need My Singaporean dream is taking MRT. And then when talking about housing, my Singaporean dream is staying HDB. Want to give you a tour now? Also can. So that's the dream. Other than this, what else? Even traveling, not that frequent, but I can agree with the cost stated here. For example, like this year, entire family, we are not traveling. I don't count the part that we travel to Malaysia, visit parents. That one, very minimal cost one. So don't have costly, trips. What else? But by the way, what is country club? I don't know what is country club. Not in my dictionary, so can skip that. Retirement, yeah, maybe something similar to what Kelvin just shared. So I guess probably also about let's call it like 2 mil. Not that different. But I would say that overall feel is that I can't relate much. But that one has to do with the Juhukia DNA blood still flowing,
What about Jiking? You don't plan to have kids, right? So it'd be super cheap for you.
I think 1.5 should be enough if don't have kids I think based on that calculation. Here, I believe if you were to rank, right, everybody has different priorities, right? So the if you look at the 4.4 million number that they gave, there are a few things that are important. So for example, like retirement and the kids, I think that one cannot run away. Like regardless of how you cut, there are still points where you need X amount of dollars means you need X amount of dollars. Yes, you can do it the cheaper way, but you still need to kind of tide through that minimum amount. So if you add those together, that's around 1.5 million. Then, like they said, I think buying a condo, that is a choice because actually I think 80% of the people still live in HDB. And HDB, if you go down the BTO route, you can still keep it relatively affordable under 5 to 700K. But if you go into a condo, then you triple the amount. So that's the first one. Second one, owning a car is also debatable. I think also depending on the nature of your job. If you don't need, if you go down the calculation of like taking Grab twice a week, that one also, I think you can bring it down quite substantially. Marriage, that one, I think is debatable. You can argue whether how big or how grand it has to be. And I think in terms of annual vacation, that one I think I can accept, meaning like 5K a year for 50 years. That is fine. So I think if you were to bring down the number, at least for myself, I think 1.5 to 2 million is fine. 1.5 on the lower range if you don't have kids lah. So meaning you still want to enjoy life and you still stay in decent living, but not like condo or landed properties or whatever. So yeah, I think the number of 1.5 to 4 million, 5 million, like on the higher end of what Eric has proposed, it's the reasonable amount lah. And I think that if you were to count somebody that just entered the workforce today, I think earning $2, $3, $4 million in their entire lifetime, I think is doable if you're a fresh grad lah, which is I think 40 to 50% of our population right now, based on the last stats that I saw from MOM lah. For the other 50%, I think for those of you who are running businesses like Kelvin and Eric, no problem lah. I think you can earn that amount in 10 years lah. But anyway, yeah, that's just my own perspective on this lah. Yeah.
So for Punti, are you planning to pay for kids' education?
Yeah, I think this is the hard part. I think need to reserve some money for that. I think let's say if go through, let's say like local university where the fee is, I would say a lot reasonable, shouldn't be a problem. Okay. But the question is, let's say if their study, their results not so good, how much as a parent, how much we should support, right? So I would say that we'll try our best, but definitely we'll have to, compare various options. Say for example, let's say you send kids to Australia, UK, those confirm definitely expensive, right? But there will be other places where you can get a lot more affordable options. One example is that let's say I think some European university school fees is zero, so you basically just have to afford living expenses. So and the cost is that you need to probably study additional 1-2 years just to pick up the language, which I think is quite useful also. So those could be in the considerations. So yeah, I would say be prepared. I try to be prepared, as in like have some saving if that is needed and he want to study. I don't want to be the one that tell my kids that, oh, sorry, your results not good, I cannot afford, then go and work. No need study. So don't want to end up with that situations.
So you mean you are right now separating a part of your portfolio for your kids' education?
No.
Or
But be
it's,
prepared. Yeah.
so it's part of your NVIDIA portfolio lah.
Yeah. Let's say you have to sell half of NVIDIA to fund it, just fund it.
No issues lah. You sell can buy
Yeah.
one condo already.
Huh? 这样多啊。
How?
Then Kelvin, you are also preparing for their education, or do you think that they should fight for themselves?
Like I said just now lah, if got extra money then give them lor. If not then fight for themselves lor.
What do you mean by extra money? So let me give you a scenario today, right? Like you said, let's say you need 1.2 million or 1.5 million for retirement. Then let's say they tell you that today they damn good. They want to study medicine in UK. You need to fork out 200,000. Will you take out from your 1.2 million portfolio to send them UK?
1.2 million. If it's additional funds from our living expenses, means money that we don't need, then I'm okay to give them lah.
For retirement, like let's say you plan nice for retirement, but you need to take out from your retirement.
Won't lah. I send them to UK, then I have to eat Cai fan every day already.
Yeah lah, exactly lah. That's the scenario. If you send them to
No.
UK and you eat Cai fan every day. No.
I mean, like a lot of friends that I went to uni with, they are able to work, they are able to take loan to pay for everything. So this I feel it's not a must have. But I also see that like in the forums, people say you brought your kid, but you don't want to support them financially. Like, what kind of parent are you? I mean, like from 0 to 18 years old, already supported. That's the bare minimum already. But after that, I feel like they can depend on themselves. Like if during the 18 years I have not taught them how to earn money, then I feel like I failed as a parent. Yeah.
Then if it's the reverse, meaning let's say like Bunti say, if it's not doing very well and you need to send them to overseas U.
Still the same lah. Got extra money, then give lor.
Okay, so the mindset here is still, if only if have access, but you won't plan specifically that I'll set aside a lump sum, maybe into endowment plan or into T-bills just for them lah.
Yeah, I think we also need to consider what's the situation, right? Because let's say if your kids is like doing very well academically, so usually to get a scholarship, I think there are ways, right? You can either study local U or get some scholarship. I think that's doable. Let's say if the result is good, but if the result is bad and he really don't want to, like pursue tertiary educations, right? Then there's still other ways, right? You can just send to vocational school or some learn some skill. I think that's also doable. Don't have to force, I think, but there's always a possibility that he want to continue, and then result is like okay, not good enough to enter, let's say NUS or NTU, but also he don't want to like just stop studying and start working, right? He still prefer to have, let's say, a degree. And let's say if the only route is like, okay, let's go to overseas and then pick up a degree, right? And he has a topic that he wanted to study, that there's a need, there's a want, and then he really need that, right? I don't want to be the person to say that just because of me, I don't want to spend that money, then you cannot go. I think as a parent, very hard to make that, tell your kids, no, because of me. So I think very hard now. Because the moment you say that, right, that means from that point onwards, right, let's say your kids' future having some hiccup, oh, because I didn't study, I can't afford university because of my parent. That kind of things, it will linger around throughout the rest of the life. I can't afford to have that, Yeah. That's
But
the
I think it's
reasoning.
can afford, right? But it's who pay, right? Because he can also go and take loan and fight
Maybe
for himself.
also
right?
it's not binary, right? Like you can support a bit, he can take loan. So it's like you can see whether it can works out or not. I think
Right.
that's the assessment. Yeah.
Okay, so Kelvin, on that point, right? Because you said that if you have access, then you will pay. So do you think it's the duty of the parents to? Is it a necessary thing in your view? Like, let's say your kid asks you to pay, then you tell him, sorry, not enough. Then how this conversation just break down?
I think it's a give and take lah. Like, it's not definitely not a binary thing lah. Yeah lor. If can, then take lah. Personally, my income is not that low until I can't even afford my retirement. Definitely there'll be extra lah, unless you say like there's a market crash. Oh, then my retirement have to come back up to that. In that scenario, I can't even afford my own living cost really. What more pay for my kids' education in overseas Europe, that kind also.
Yeah. I think that's a good point, because it's not saying that, okay, we don't pay for the university fee means that we are selfish, right? I think it's not like that. I think the other way to see things is that, let's say if you overspend on this kind of expenses and then you jeopardize your own retirement plan, right? In the end, you still need your kids to support you. So it becomes a burden for your kids also. So you need to think of the ROC, like the return on capital, how much capital you put in for this kind of education, and then how much additional income that your kids can potentially earn, right? You need to have some assessment on that as well. So I wouldn't say that it's all about like, oh, I selfish, I save money for myself. Sometimes it could be a wise decisions also if you take good care of yourself first as a parent. Yeah.
But Bundy, let's say if you got 500K, then at the same time your kid ask you for the money, but at the same time you saw some investment that can give you 1,000% return the next 4 years. Where are you going to put your money?
No lah, where got investment so easy to get like 1,000% return. But I would say that if you look at the return on capital, you need to make sense lah. Because for example, right now, right, let's say, not talking about Singapore, let's say US, right? US, I think their tuition fees is going like crazy because they can easily afford to take the student loan. So the fee is like super high, and then there's a lot of cases where people take on student debt and then they go and study, and your incremental income because of that degree also is not like a lot. You could be studying degree that have no demand. So in that case, right, I would say that it is not a must. There's various ways for you to get a higher income without a degree. Say, for example, just learn some skill, learn some codings or whatever. Have to follow the passions, have to follow the interests, those kind of things. But I would say that, yeah, it's not a must lah. But let's say if the degree is like a clear path, like you can see the benefits, you can see the ROC, you don't want to be the one that say that I just can't afford it. So, but in order to have that, you also like probably just save a bit more lah while you can. Yeah. So we all relatively speaking, I think we all have like relatively high saving rate. Sometimes it's not because we don't know how to spend, right? Sometimes it's like you prepare some money is really for this kind of situations. Let's say kids' educations. Maybe it's like preparation for your old age when you are old, you're sick, you need more money, right? So if you have some capital around, I think that's quite useful also. So it's not like we are all so stingy that don't know how to spend and keep the expenses low until bottom, like it's very, very low. Right? It gives you more options. Yeah.
Okay, I think that pretty much sums up this entire discussion. Feel free to leave in the comments below on do you guys think whether it's the duty of the parents to pay for the child's education. And if that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. Goodbye.